Olá a todos, sejam todos muito bem-vindos ao meu canal. Eu me chamo João Paulo e no vídeo de hoje a gente vai falar sobre o crescente preço dos alimentos nos Estados Unidos. Pois é, minha gente, parece que agora, né, o efeito das taxas já começaram a sobrecair sobre os preços dos alimentos lá nos Estados Unidos e eu trouxe aqui algumas matérias, algumas reportagens que mostram isso, tá? Então nós vamos ver essas reportagens aqui hoje. Então toda aquela taxação que o Donald Trump fez aqui no Brasil sobre o preço, sobre alguns commodities e também em outros países, né, já começou a refletir lá no bolso dos americanos, tá? E a população tá bem satisfeita com isso. Vamos ver essas matérias aqui pra gente entender melhor tudo isso.
I'm Stephanie Rodriguez reporting in Seminole County. There are signs that the most recent tariffs put into place on imported goods could lead to a rise in costs at the grocery store on some of your favorite items like canned goods, fruits, and coffee.
Okay, and I can tell you the prices have gone up.
Gail Kent tells me she's noticed a steep increase at checkout.
Like I just got Parmesan cheese. It was $12.99 and now it's $16.99.
And she's not the only one seeing the rise, as the high cost of groceries is straining many people's wallets. A recent poll shows 53% of Americans say grocery costs were a, quote, major stress.
Well, I think it's really sad for people who really can't afford it.
And it could continue to impact consumers, as economists warn the latest round of tariffs might drive up prices even further. Some imports coming from Brazil will now face a 50% tariff, which means we'll likely see some coffee, sugarcane, and meat go up in price.
Obviously, it's noticeable on the price difference, but it's kind of hard to say where everything's increasing. But, I mean, as far as even the champagne, it's up $1 or $2, so it just doesn't stop.
For Zach Stewart, an increase at the register has him reconsidering what he eats day to day.
For me, cooking-wise, may not always be the best option anymore if the prices keep going up. I may have to consider eating out more often, just because I live by myself.
Aluminum goods from Canada are subject to a 35% tariff, which could mean higher costs for certain drinks and canned goods.
They don't understand that tariffs are paid by the consumer, okay? The companies pay it, but then they pass on the costs. The Census Bureau reports that American businesses are also importing less amid the higher tariffs. That's another thing making it more expensive to buy those foreign-produced goods. Reporting in Seminole County, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Bom, vamos lá para mais uma reportagem que a gente tem aqui.
The high cost of groceries is straining many people's wallets. A recent poll shows 53% of Americans say grocery costs were, quote, a major stress. Overall, food costs continue to rise.
Since, 2020, food prices are up about 25%.
Phil Lempert, known as the supermarket guru, says the rise in prices is not only causing consumers to pay more, but also impacting grocers and manufacturers.
We're seeing some manufacturers play that shrinkflation game where, they're taking smaller sized packages, putting less ingredients in them, but charging the same thing or even more.
President Donald Trump's latest round of tariffs could drive up prices further. Some imports coming from Brazil will now face a 50% tariff. Lempert says that means higher prices for coffee, sugarcane, and meats. Aluminum goods from Canada are subject to a 35% tariff, which could mean higher costs for certain soda and canned goods.
This is a major escalation of tariffs. It's across the board, across the entire world.
Lydia DePillis covers the economy for the New York Times. The Trump administration said in July the tariffs have generated $150 billion in tax revenue, but DePillis says that's actually a small amount.
It is typically about 2% of federal income. That could rise to as much as 5%, but it is not going to replace large amounts of the federal government's tax and spending.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Vamos ver mais uma matéria aqui, né? Vocês viram que nessa matéria mesmo eles destacaram que os preços já vinham aumentando, né, desde 2020, porém com a taxação do Donald Trump a tendência é aumentar mais ainda, né? Vamos ver aqui mais uma reportagem. Essa aqui é com o dono dessa rede de supermercado, né? E ele vai explicar mais ou menos o funcionamento aqui. Vamos ver.
The president says grocery prices are dropping. Is that what you're seeing?
Well, look, if you go back to COVID and everything, they've obviously gone up since then. I think you see a pause in grocery prices right now because, like, for instance, we don't know what to do as far as buying goes right now. You know, a couple of things that are out there is any tariffs from China, which has to do with things like these aluminum pans that we get from China. We just switched our production to the United States now to buy aluminum pans, so we're not buying from China. And the other big one that hit us today was this. India
Shrimp.
grows most of the shrimp in the world right now.
Wow.
And now this, what do we do now? This just got 50. Is it 50% or 25%? I don't even know.
Well,
How
it's
much
50
is it
now
today?
for India. So the question becomes, what's the impact on your margins, Stu? And can you swallow this, or do you have to pass it to the consumer?
Well, here's what we've been doing right now. Since nobody knows really what's happening with the tariffs, most of our importers have said, we'll split it with you. So you take a 15%, for instance, on bananas. They don't grow in the United States. Okay, I can't buy them here. 15% tariff. We've said we'll split it 7.5%. Okay. Right now, I'm eating it. We haven't raised prices, but you know, your guest who you had on prior to me had a great point. He said, "Wait till the holidays come." So if we sell 1 pound of shrimp today, we'll sell probably 20 pounds of shrimp for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So that's going to be the big impact right now. Our importer that we have, which is, by the way, just a family business. This isn't a big corporation or anything. He told me this morning, I talked to him, he said, you know, I got to spend $200,000 to fill up a container of shrimp coming from India. He said, now at 50% tariff, it's $300,000. And he said, our family's got to put that money up ahead of time. And I don't know if it'll sell. Now, here's the interesting thing that happened that I learned today, is he then calls Ecuador up and says, you know what, we'd like to buy from shrimp from you. Guess what Ecuador said? Our prices have now gone up 25%.
Wow.
So they're looking at India like their prices went up 50, so they figured there's some room in there to is that called price gouging or what? I don't know, but hey, we're
Sounds
just
like
a family
Ecuador is going to be
business.
doing some business here. So, Stu, you know, you are a family business. What does this mean for a company like yours that's trying to compete with the likes of Walmart or Costco when it comes to groceries, where they have the scale to negotiate lower prices?
Well, I don't think anybody wants to hurt the smaller suppliers that supply to you. Most of our business comes from local farmers right now. We're getting New Jersey blueberries. We're getting beautiful watermelon from Delaware right now. Local corn. We're buying a lot of local stuff right now. It's not bought, outside the U.S. right now. So, but anyway, right now, what we're just trying to do is navigate. We're eating a little bit of the margin, and we're already on thin margins in the supermarket business. So we're eating some of it. I can't eat it forever, and let's wait and see what happens next month and really the month after.
So we're in a month-to-month kind of situation here. You're standing with a bunch of perishable goods behind you, Stu, and I know a lot of your store is different. You held up that aluminum pan, for instance. But when it comes to perishable goods, I'm surprised you haven't held up an avocado yet. First of all, a lot of that stuff doesn't come from the U.S. We don't grow it here, and you can't front run. So you're very much day-to-day with a lot of these products, aren't you?
You know what it's like, Joe? It's like when COVID hit. We had a scramble, like toilet paper, obviously, was a huge thing. We had to get some from South America.
Yeah.
So I've never been so busy with me and our buyers as far as scrambling to find different sources around the world that are less tariff than other countries.
Mm-hmm. So how long do you think you can sustain margins here if these tariffs do not change You mentioned the holidays. Is that when this starts to kick in?
Yeah, we're hanging by our fingernails right now. I mean, we can't do this forever. And I'm hoping all of Trump's tariff deals and everything will work themselves out. And I'm hoping we'll go into the holidays with, like Trump said, low prices, fuel is down.
Yeah.
Our farmers are happy about that. They got to fill their tractors up. Their labor costs are up. I can't reel labor costs back. You know, we gave everybody raises at Stu Leonard's over the last 3-4 years. I can't reel that back. That's I can't tell somebody you're going to earn less money. So some of those costs are built in right now. And then feed costs. Look at the weather across the country right now. You know, that's impacting all of our cattle ranchers. You know, they want to send their cattle out to graze in the pastures. There's no more grass out there. So what do? They got to buy feed to feed their cattle, which increases the cost of beef. So you're seeing a little uptick in beef prices right now.
Sure, it starts right in the feedstock. Stu, I can tell you're a pretty good boss. I bet you're a good boss, and I can see that you're the type who interacts with your customers. What are you hearing from your customers in your 8 stores? What are they most worried about?
Well, you know, we have 100,000 customers a week coming through Stu Leonard's right now. So, and we're down on the floor talking to everybody. Of course, everybody talks about food costs. But you know what, Joe? They're buying. And the thing that sort of surprises us is even these prime cut states and everything are up like 20% this year. So how do you figure that out? You know, people are buying their, I don't know if it's comfort food or whatever, but their sales feel pretty good right now.
The president says grocery.
Bom, a gente vê aqui, né, também que os pequenos supermercados, né, como eles disseram aqui, estão tendo problemas, né? E
uma plataforma todos os
já tem problemas internos lá nos Estados Unidos. Esse vídeo foi de 5 dias atrás, né? Eu entrei aqui para ver. E vamos ver mais uma reportagem também que a gente tem. Deixa eu ver a data dessa reportagem, só para trazer aqui para vocês essa informação. Essa reportagem é cadê? De 8 dias atrás também. Vamos lá, vamos ver.
You've stressed over your grocery bill lately, and you are not alone. A new poll revealing that most Americans are worried about paying for food at the store. Scripps News national correspondent Avajoy Burnett is with us now, live from our Washington, D.C. newsroom. Avajoy, how are people feeling about their grocery store visits?
Well, a lot of people are saying those grocery store prices, they're really stressing them out. We're talking about items like apples and ground beef. They've gone up 7% and 10% when compared to just 1 year ago. But experts are saying even if tariffs aren't the sole contributing factor here, they could be making things even worse.
Americans are feeling the pinch at the grocery store.
It's depressing and just, I don't know, difficult to, wrap your head around about how much you have to spend to make a meal for somebody.
Rose Neighborhouse is among those looking for ways to stretch her money when shopping for food.
I always look for bargains. And then if something is on sale, I'll buy that because I know it's on sale. And then if something is just way overpriced, I just do without.
Most Americans say they're stressed about the cost of groceries, with 53% saying it's a major source of stress, according to a new Associated Press NORC poll.
Used to be you go in with $30, you could buy a week's groceries.
A lot of us are on a fixed income, and we can't afford the higher cost of everything.
The price of all food is up 3% from a year ago.
I don't know how much of the ongoing inflation is connected to tariffs, but tariffs are only expected to worsen what we've seen with respect to price increases.
William Ridley is a professor of agricultural economics and says while current price hikes at the grocery store can't solely be tied to President Trump's new tariffs, they could impact many goods in the store.
Fundamentally, tariffs are going to make imported goods more expensive, and a lot of the goods that comprise consumers' budgets, U.S. households' budgets and what they spend money on, things like coffee, things like cooking oil, that sort of stuff, we really anticipate that prices are going to go up in a big way.
And lower income Americans, they're feeling the pressure the most here. According to experts, 6 in 10 people who earn less than $30,000 a year, they're saying that the grocery store prices, it's a major stress for them. And when you go up the income bracket here, people who are making about $100,000 or more each year, they're also saying this is a major stress for them. But those numbers go a little bit lower. It's about 4 in 10 of those people, Nate.
Yeah, obviously, grocery store is pretty big, a lot of aisles. So, Avajoy, where have we seen prices rise the most so far in grocery stores?
It's something that we have been talking about for the last few months. Eggs have gone up, according to the experts, about 20% when we compare to the same time last year. But it's also important to note that eggs have gone down about 10% in the last month. And then other items like beef and veal, they have gone up about 10% year over year. Those aren't affected by tariffs, but experts are saying it is possible that tariffs could start to affect other categories of food in the future, Nate.
Scripps News national correspondent Avajoy Burnett, thank you.
Então é isso, né, gente? Na verdade, como vocês viram na reportagem, eles falam que o preço dos alimentos já vem crescendo de um tempo para cá, mas todo mundo sabe, né, e os especialistas mesmos dizem que as tarifas tendem a aumentar mais ainda os preços dos alimentos, né? Então já está tendo um pequeno aumento e provavelmente isso vai aumentar ainda mais. Mas então foi esse o vídeo, eu espero que vocês tenham gostado. Se você gosta desse tipo de conteúdo, já se inscreva no meu canal, porque aqui eu sempre trago vídeos como esse. Tchau, tchau e até o próximo vídeo.